So this will be a tutorial for Tide Tasmanian Tiger. Any percent should work for PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and PC. I'll be showing most of it on PC. A little bit can be done. I'll switch to GameCube. There's some things which I found to be a little different with GameCube than how they can be executed, and that's true for all consoles. Okay, so the first part is on PC, you can't do continue without saving, so you have to choose. And you start timing from after choosing to continue from this screen. On GameCube, or console, you have the Y, or actually it's Y on GameCube and Xbox, and then it's triangle to continue without saving. And as soon as you press that, it would start. That would be the start of the run. And just to make things easier, if I'm showing anything on there, I'm going to use my 98% profile. For now, it's time through RTA, so loading times go. PS2 is the slowest, GameCube would be the next fastest, Xbox would be the next fastest, and PC is near instant. So PC has the fastest loading times, but there is a minor problem with that. It saves when you get a Thunder Egg, and then you may notice that we exit level after. We just go into the start menu and do the exit level. But you can't go into the start menu until the saving is done. Saving is done rather quickly, so it doesn't matter too much. But the first thing is just to go straight and talk to the koala. I can't think of his name.
G'day.
Julius. Right. And then you're into 2-up. And you're always pressing Y or triangle, or on keyboard it's F by default, I think, to skip cutscenes. You can just make this jump rather than jumping onto these. It's easy enough to just grab from the ground and grab on. And then you can go down here. There's going to be a few cutscenes that just pop up, and you just need to be aware of when they start, when you land, right about there. And this is easier to do on console, but you can bite before the cutscene and continue the bite and break open the bilby. It's a little bit tougher on PC because of how things got changed, so you can just do it after, and it doesn't really matter whether you do that or not. It's just a minor time cutscene there, cutscene up here. You could jump from before and do that animation while you're in the air, but that takes some time. Should come back. There it goes. If you just walk to it and bite, he'll automatically go up. And I'm just waiting for them to come back because there is a thing that you can do that can save a little bit more time as well, but is not really necessary. And that's if you walk forward enough, he aims at the second box, and you can bite from the second box. All in all, playing the game and knowing where most of the stuff is and how the world is connected to each other is a good general knowledge before running the game. You need the boomerang to grab edges, so make sure that you don't throw it before you try to grab the edge. Here's a minor skip. When you walk up to Julius there, you get the here is a golden cog cutscene. If you go from up here and you jump, you can land on top of the Seiyuu, or the outhouse collision, and jump over the entire trigger. And there's another Bilby back here. And you just kind of jump up. Here you're getting a second boomerang. The second boomerang allows you to start gliding. But there is one thing that you may notice at certain parts. If you jump when you get to the top, you kind of just normally glide anyway, or just before the top. But there's a timing where you get to the top or just a little bit afterwards. You may notice that Tai kind of hops into the air a little bit. He gets a little bit more height, which also means more distance. This is known as what I and a few other runners call the extended hover. Notice that if I don't get it, it's noticeably shorter how far I can go. So you do an extended hover from here onto this upper platform. And then you're jumping around, taking out these. Okay, so he always goes right, left, left. So if you just threw the left, you have the right, you can actually miss. If you line up about straight to that button, you can throw it while you're in the air and he hits it. He didn't. I think I jumped too late. No. But yeah, he'll hit it. You can go into first person view after that, hit the other two. And that'll move all of these, and then you can just kind of extend hover onto ones that are out of reach. Juliet, Maury will talk to you there before you can grab this Thunder Egg. And then the last Bilby is right here behind the waterfall. The only Thunder Egg we do not collect in 2-Up is the 300 opals. So you have to kill all 7 of these Frills. And the closer you are to over here, because the Thunder Egg goes to you, so the closer you are to this area, the faster it can go by the end. And if you get the extended hover here, I didn't continue forward, but you will, as long as you do any hover, you have enough distance to grab the edge. But if you jump from the ledge, and get an extended hover, you'll just walk, which is a slight bit faster. From there, you can continue to these mushrooms, which teleport you back to the beginning, right in front of where the time attack is. And then you just do the time attack. There is a way to skip that second ledge just by extending hover. If you mess it up, though, you'll grab the ledge, and that wastes more time than just jumping back and forth. And biting gives you a little bit more speed to get to the end. After that, just exit level. You can extend hover over that instead of having to go through the gate. Now that you're in walk, do the first part that's a little bit different between PC and console. The trick is the same, but I found that it's a little bit easier to do different variations of it on console than it is on PC. This is walk in the park skip. So you can stand on a piece of geometry that's around here somewhere. That's just up behind this tree. From here you can just jump and hover, and if you aim a little bit left, Ty just falls. On console though, switching between the two different captures. Here, I can show it all again. And since stream already cut, it's going to be simple. I can easily just put this as a YouTube video and actually edit it.
Get that.
And that's the part of the camera that is kind of different. It turns more violently on the auto parts on console, or at least on GameCube. But yeah, you can hover and aim a little bit more right to get it over. Generally, what you can see is that there's really hard to find an angle where it's easy to see, but you can see a fairly large corner of the geometry, and just a little bit to the right of that's usually where I'm aiming. If I switch this to a left, yeah. So I'm aiming for about here-ish. There. But if you get the extended hover, you can aim around here if you're going for it, and he'll just slide up and around. And it's slightly faster, but less consistent. At least it's less consistent for me. Kythal does it fairly quickly and often, so that's that part. Now, we go back to PC. Which direction am I in? Oh, okay. So this is where I landed from the clip, which is that way. You just continue down towards... You don't want to grab the ledge. You want to continue over here, and you can extend hover or grab the ledge there. You can extend a hover to get on top of that, and then you can grab this thunder. And you want to go into this flower, which puts you back at the top. What we did with that walk skip is we skipped this first water slide. So we talked to Ranger Ken, and then you go down here, and we're going to do bats. And you can just throw your boomerang and it'll hit them. Otherwise, just aim and hit them. You don't need to follow them. You just have to wait, because they only go to 3 specific spots after you talk to Ken. If you don't talk to Ken, they'll go right here and immediately go backwards, and that's how you know that you haven't talked to them. But after there's enough, you can hit them there, and then you climb all the way back up. And then they'll end up around here. And here, water slides are kind of weird. I usually jump because it lets you go around corners slightly faster. It doesn't matter too much. Otherwise, you can just duck and press forward and dodge everything that you can. Hold close to the corners. It all works. Whether you're standing, crouching, jumping, your movement's the same. Jumping could be faster, but it doesn't matter. Right. So, I usually go far right, and he goes this way, and you can just bite him there. I didn't for actual reasons, because I want to show where this turkey is going to go. He can go down any of these paths, and it's easy to just get overwhelmed by how fast he is, but you can usually take a corner much faster than he can. So as long as you know kind of where he's going, like here, he's going to go this way, and you can just bite across there. Can I force him down the other way? So, yeah, if you got him here, you can easily just turn around and bite him and get the thunder egg. Otherwise, I'm going to... No, he won't go the other way. I'm just going to show where he goes. So from here, if he heads this direction, a frill will be right here. You're going to want to hit the boomerang, otherwise you bite the frill instead of biting the turkey. But the turkey takes this really wide arc out here. So if you go straight through here, boomerang that, you can just bite right there. You have to time it with where he's going, which is fairly easy. And you should get the thunder egg right here. Turkey is center. Oh. Oh, it's all the way up there. So like that. I made him move forward, and then you just have to cut the corner. Getting the turkey from the beginning is fairly easy once you understand what he's doing. Okay, so here, there's a minor skip to just, to go from this one straight onto that one, if you can hover correctly. And you can't do an extended hover as far as I know from these. Yeah, it's so much easier to do from the bottom. I'm failing this. Otherwise, you can just do it casually. I don't know why this is being a bigger pain than usual, but you can make that jump. I think it's slightly different just with PC. I don't know if that's just me, but I've had a harder time with doing this on PC, which is why I haven't been doing it. It is possible. There. On PC, you have to jump closer to the edge of that pedal. I can't. Anyway, you're going to exit level after that one. There's no more thunder eggs to get. And then shipwrecks. Here a glitch can happen, but it's kind of random, and it's easy to get rid of. If you jump onto these, and you get out, sometimes when you get out, your boomerangs will be invisible. All you have to do is flip them like you're changing boomerangs with the left-right D-pad, or I think it's Q and E on keyboard. Anyway, you're gonna start swimming, and then you can just throw. Whoa, that was way off. Hit that button. Oh, if the camera's ever weird to you when you're underwater, like you're facing this way and you're wanting to go forward, if you just aim and get out, it puts you as forward. That'll be useful in one area in particular in here. Right. So you can just go back and forth. It's fine. You could also go from the... Notice that after you jump from this first... As soon as you jump on this first one, it points you... The camera will point you towards that other one. To the one that it expects you to go to. Which is why I usually end up doing that. Usually going to this one first, and then doing the weird jump here. Or the non-intended jump. But you can do the non-intended jump straight off, and then do the intended jump and bite. If you bite while above water that you can swim in, you'll dive, which Rex teaches you. So you can dive in here, and that enters water faster. You can talk to the seahorse and then move on. You want to grab this one seahorse child and go up here. You can either stand on the seahorse, or you can kind of just walk onto this little bit of land and jump up. But you can also position the seahorse into the side and kind of stand on him sometimes. And eventually stand on nothing, which also works. But generally you just have to walk, jump, and you're up. You can extend hover to get some extra height if you need to. Watch out for this pool. It doesn't matter. But you go back into this pool, and now for the bigger trick of shipwrecks. So there's this big boat. This big underwater boat with a thunder egg inside of it. Casually, you can just come over here, position yourself in here, hit the button. This trick takes some time to figure out positioning. If you can see it, end up doing is going right above this texture where it transitions. So I'm kind of lined up. If you go into first person and aim out this way and throw the left one, you can hear it hit. If you aim too close to the boat, it doesn't hit it sometimes. It actually doesn't hit it most of the time, but I found if I aimed out here, it would. The other thing you can do is kind of just hit from here is kind of just hit the ground in front of you, and the bouncing off of the boomerangs will actually cause its arc to do the same thing. I'm not as familiar with that one, but in the boat, it's really weird to move your camera around. So sometimes when I'm in here, I kind of just swim up and try to hit it. If not, I position to it. But now you notice that your position to like swim backwards is somewhat weird. So you can just reposition your camera with that quickly to move out. You walk up here, and then you can extend hover and grab this, or sometimes you can extend hover all the way and just land on top of it. Same thing here, you can extend hover and just land up here, or grab the ledge. There's a way to extend hover and not grab the ledge here. It usually doesn't matter. It usually doesn't end up mattering for me, but you can. You need, if you just continue to hold forward, you'll be slowed down by the curve. But if you jump out, you can jump up and high enough with the extended hover to not do it. But you need to turn quickly. Here you can do the same thing, extend hover from the ledge-ish part, like just past the ledge, because this is all downhill slightly in comparison. and extend hover to get on top. Or grab the ledge. It's easier with the continual forward movement, and you're grabbing this one very. And then you're just going to fall off this ledge, and then hover at least once. Otherwise, you'll do a falling and splat, which will take time for Ty to get up. Now, there's this whole quicksand part about hitting coconuts, but for the most part, we don't need to bother about the quicksand, because you can just go onto that piece of land up there and get up here. From here, you can hover, wait a little bit to get into this corner, and then this area is solid even though it looks like quicksand, and you can jump up again. Then if you hit the first, third coconuts, make sure you have both to hover. Well, you don't need both, but it makes it safer. You can get up to this thundering. Same there, if you don't hover, you go splat. And you can grab that bilby. Now, here's another thing with the weird camera controls of PC. When you're swimming, it likes to stick the camera on the wall instead of following behind Ty like it does everywhere else. So you might need to do a weird thing with your hand to control Ty as well as swim. In swimming, if you're up to speed, you can just hold A and you'll continue speed. Okay, so if you're stopped and you press it, you kind of swim, and you just hold A, you kind of swim slowly. If you double press it, you'll go up to speed. And then you can just hold A after double pressing. You don't have to continually press it. Okay. The sharks in general don't matter. Just swim low enough underneath them and it's fine. So casually you go up onto that to hit this button, or you can just go from here, and aim at the button, or make sure that you're throwing the right, so right, left, make sure you're throwing the right boomerang. Sort of look towards it, jump, and throw, and then you can dive at the same time. Oh, another thing with the mouse and keyboard. You'll notice that with the controller input on PC, Ty kind of takes these very wide turns. But on PC, you just press forward to swim, and then Ty will turn almost as fast as you can turn the camera, because he auto-corrects. So turning is a lot more fluid on mouse and keyboard. It's definitely a lot smaller of a turn radius. You can grab this bilby for that thunder egg. And the reason why we don't climb the mountain first is because you can climb a lot of the mountain straight from this bilby. You can cut it a little short. Make sure you talk to her to get that thunder egg. And then you're going to go into the mushrooms to go back to the beginning. The one thing that we didn't do in that beginning area is we picked up some of the seahorses, but we didn't pick up all of them. So now we're going to finish up the seahorses, and that'll be the last thunder egg. Make sure you hit barracudas and scuba divers so they don't do anything. Because being hit stops Ty and it takes time. But it's a fairly obvious, just circle around to get all these. And then you need to go back to the mother so they all return to the mother. Oh. Apparently it didn't go far enough. And then after that, exit level. And just like how you got over the gate with an extended hover, you can go over the gate again with an extended hover and walk to Julius. And then you can start Bull's Pen. You can go in either direction. It's definitely better to start here, fight just before he reaches you and you don't get hurt. So if you stand, you'll notice the collision is kind of rounded around it. If you kind of just stand on that and wait until he's close and then fight, at the last second he doesn't slow down and he'll hit it. So he'll charge immediately twice, and now before he charges, he's going to stomp the ground. And here's a place where you can kind of see I'm only jumping so high, but when I do the extended hover, I get a little bit more height. Oh. I technically wasn't... I didn't know you could do that. He auto-aims himself. Interesting. Okay. Bull's pretty dumb. But after he does the pounds... So the first two he just charges, then he does some pounding, and then he'll throw rocks that'll land on top of you. Just kind of run in circles or stutter step around. It doesn't really matter if you get hit. As long as you evade getting hit once, it doesn't really matter. As long as he hits the different stone spires. And that's Bull. And Hub 1. So now we're going to head to Hub 2. Hub 1 is actually called Bly Station. Hub 2 is... Actually, I don't remember. There's a cutscene with Sly. Jump over the rainbow scales. Any rainbow scales you see, you want to jump over. After you collect one, though, it doesn't matter. The reason why is because when you collect one, Mori has a little scene that tells you what it is, which wastes a quarter of a second. So don't go out of your way to avoid it. If it happens, it happens. Okay. So normally what you'd want, the normal progression of where we're going is to walk forward and get in the river and swim around. But as soon as you get close enough there... Mori has a thing, doesn't he? Oh, there it is. Mori talks to you, because he has that sign. We're going to get around that by going over this big rock ridge. There's two ways up, and this way is pretty difficult. There's kind of just a place you aim for, and you have to jump at the end. You have to get an extended hover. It's a bad time. Technically, I do believe this is faster if you could do it immediately and on your first try. Like, spawn into the world, head that way, jump on your first try. And it's not entirely obvious where you can just suddenly stand on this rock face. What I'm kind of aiming for is just, I stand here-ish and then aim to walk over the snakehead, and then I'm kind of just going for this sort of area. This one is actually pretty difficult, And since it doesn't really save much time and the other way is a lot more consistent, it's better to just go the other way. But I kind of want to show you that this is possible. So I'll give it a few more tries. Nope, that was way too soon of a jump. Yeah. Anyway, the very easy way is just to simply stand on this box and jump. I mean, extend hover. I do believe you need to have the extend hover. No, you don't. You don't even need to extend hover to get onto it. You just stand on this box and jump like towards that rock. You'll climb over it. You do have to kind of jump up to get onto here. But, yeah. So then you can dive. If you don't hit the collision of the rock wall, you can dive and get up here. And then there's a building back here. Now we're also going to not go back all the way because you can simply get up by standing over. So there's a corner-ish area right here. There's a corner in the geometry. If you're to the right of it, you can't really grab it. But if you're to the left of it, you can grab this ledge. He won't target you if you do it in one. The only reason why he targeted me is because I jumped up and he saw me first. Use the flame ring to get rid of the webs, and here's the next building. If you flame ring these guys, they won't bother you anymore, really, because you burn their cricket bats, so they can't throw the they can't really throw and hit the balls at you. And then there's this jump, which, even though it's the intended path and super casual, I still end up screwing up somehow. If you do screw up and you end up down here, you don't have to walk all the way around. You can just extend hover and then up here, and then if you wiggle back and forth, you have to go high enough first. You can get back up. Now you're going to talk to Dennis. Now you're going to lead Dennis, but most of this, you don't need to really watch him. So you can just hit all these as fast as you can, up to the point that we'll see anyway. After that one, you want to jump off and head towards this island that has a building on it. And usually you don't have to fight the cricket bat guy. Hit this one, and you'll notice that Dennis is still coming. Like, he hasn't reached that island yet. Oh yeah, he has. He has now. But he's usually like just getting on that island or is about to get on that island when you throw it, or when you get there. We continue on. And usually at this point, after I hit this one, I look back and see where Dennis is, and he's usually, and wait for him to cross that bridge at least. From there on, you can go to the end here, to the end of the bridge. Kind of look back to make sure he's still coming, which he should be. As long as he's continually moving, you're not going to lose time. Then you can stand here and wait for him a little bit. And after he crosses, you can just walk. There's a ring of opals there that I use as a marker. Somewhere in them or slightly after them, you need to stop. Otherwise, you're too far away from Dennis to trigger that scene, which gives you the Thunder Egg. So then there's this mini game. You have to talk to Rex, and then you have to... That can happen, and we're not entirely sure why you bite instead of diving. It's something about there being land. The best way we figured out how to do it is just to jump let go of your forward momentum. After you go enough distance, just let go of your forward momentum. Like, don't continue holding up on the control stick, and then dive. Which, exaggerating it is kind of weird. But it's not too hard. There is a thing here. If you bite and talk to Dennis at the same time, I missed it. Or not Dennis. If you bite and talk to Rex at the same time, so you're in the middle of biting him as you talk to him, this minigame world will happen, but it doesn't place you up at the top to do the minigame. Instead, you're still down here with Rex, and most of all of these objects are gone. The collision still exists, but you can't see them. So you can walk on an invisible bridge. You can fight Nettie even, but Thunder Eggs don't spawn. Cogs are still here, and you can collect them. It's a very weird world. Well, you'll head over here. Normally you swim underwater. But you can kind of walk here. Just make sure that if you don't go too far left when you're doing this, because after you get up, if you let go of walking into the wall, you slide down, or if you go too far left, you slide down. But you want to get close enough to over here, and then you can just jump, extend hover, and you grab this ledge. So you can walk straight into Nettie. Now with Nettie, you want to end with him close to the gate, so you jump over him once. You don't want him too far in there because he has to walk to the water's edge before he'll charge again. So you kind of want to keep him fairly close to you. After that, though, you can just let him go as far as he wants. Do that, let him turn around, hit him. Now you can overwrite different animations by biting into him, and then you collect the Thunder Egg, which is one animation, and the being pushed out is another animation. They override so you don't have to watch you getting the Thunder Egg. Doing that. It saves a little bit of time, and the closer you are to the gate, the better it is. From here, you can dive into the water and swim to this edge, or just jump down and glide and jump to it. What you're going to try and do is very simply grab this ledge. And it's kind of like that same thing in Shipwrecks, where you can't just jump, you have to jump out and turn. Or you can go from here, jump out and turn. Like, jump out at an angle instead of having to do a complete, like, 360 jump. You can just slightly turn to the right. So, turkeys are kind of weird here. There's two of them now. One thing you can do is bite this turkey here, and then immediately start running this way. And if the turkey comes towards you, and you bite it, you'll sometimes get the Thunder Egg. Otherwise, you can kind of wait here if he goes that way, grab that Thunder Egg, and as the Thunder Egg's coming over, you can get to this turkey if he hasn't moved. If he hasn't moved, he has the startle animation. The other thing to do with this is that when you hit the one that has the Thunder Egg, which is the one that has the trail, it has to do the animation of sending the Thunder Egg to the other turkey. And during that animation, the other turkey is completely still. So what I'll end up usually doing is making this turkey go all the way over here and bite this one that had it originally, so that it goes to him. Wonder if I can make the turkeys go back to where they were. Oh, that one headed that way. So when that one is also there, if I bite it, then this turkey would stop. So it's easy to see. I bite this one, and that turkey gets like in an animation, and you can just bite it as it's getting the Thunder Egg, and the Thunder Egg comes to you. After that, that's your last Thunder Egg in here. Turkey's kind of weird. They control you. But that's the basics of what you want to do to have the turkeys obey you, really. The fast way is immediately buying that one, going to the other one and biting it, which is a little bit luck-based because if the turkey turns around and runs away from you, you don't get it. And you kind of have to do different things. Otherwise, try to make it so you are close enough that when you bite the one that has the thunder egg, you can grab it from, you can immediately bite the other one that doesn't have the thunder egg that's receiving it, and you'll get the thunder egg in the process. Now, emus are a little bit different too. Emu collecting Outback is kind of different. All you have to do is kind of be facing them, and it usually grabs it, and then you just pull them towards you. And as soon as it pops, just do it again, pull it towards you. Another thing you can do though is that if you're doing that, I missed my opportunity there. But where'd that other turkey go? Oh. If you're doing that and as soon as it goes, you can charge, and that pushes you forward. Now it only pushes you forward. It doesn't push you towards them, so you got to be careful. And sometimes it doesn't even pull the turkey. Sometimes you're pulling the turkey slow. It depends on when you press charge. But that can save time if you're like in their direction. If they're behind you, don't charge, obviously. Oh, I almost collected all the turkeys. You want to collect this bilby before you collect all the turkeys. Yeah. It should be easy to do within 2 minutes, usually within a minute and a half, and around a minute's a good time. Like a really good time. So there's a few things that you can do here when you're supposed to be protecting Shaza. You can just kill all the frills as they're going along. You kill that one, another one spawns right there. Another one spawns over here by those bales. Or you can just continue forward quickly. And because you're far enough past, those frills don't spawn. These ones sometimes will, even if you continue forward. So it's good to stay here. That one apparently spawned anyway. You can lasso the frills, or you can charge into them to kill them. Either works. If Shaza gets hit, it slows her down. It doesn't slow her down over the whole point, but she has a little stun time, basically, where she's a little bit slower. It's not too bad, so you don't have to worry about getting hit. It's less than a second loss. But in general, that's why you'd only want to go a certain distance, just in case they do spawn. You don't want to suddenly have... If you go all the way back to here and expected that none of them spawn and they do anyway, Shaza will die, and then you have to do the mission over. So another one spawns here, and you can stand in their spawn zone to usually stop them from spawning. And sometimes he'll spawn anyway, and he'll just be out in the middle of the road, and you can lasso him or charge into him and kill him. Then that one, and that's the last one. Don't know if it's any faster, but you can also push Shaza a little. Try and keep her to go towards the end. And magnificent lens flare. That is PC. It's blinding and it's terrible. I mean, it kind of looks pretty, but there's a lot of places in Outback when you're heading towards the sun, and it can be very blinding, and you don't know where you're going anymore. Fortunately, I think that's the only time in any percent where you're really facing towards the sun. Well, actually, do you face it here, or are you too far to the right? Yeah, you're too far to the right. No, you're good. You can get lens flare here, but just face the ground. You'll be fine. Talk to Ranger Ken, accept it, and what you're gonna do is charge into these to knock them down. The other way is to use your lasso and pull them down, but that takes more time. You can just charge into the bases and they fall anyway. There's a bilby back here that you need to get, which is why we don't go directly to the next house. because we don't want to go back in here. Because afterwards, it puts us back at Ranger 10. Then you're going to go down here towards the waterfall area. And here is another bilby inside that shack. And there's just the hidden thunder egg of this level is underneath this waterfall. Charging is slightly faster, but you don't get to change in the middle of it, so it's good for straightaways. It's also good to get away from the twisters. And that would be the last bilby and that thunder egg, and then we do the pipes. Now, pipes, I do the middle here, and then this last one, because the frill will try to fix the middle one, then the last one. And then you can do the last one up here and go backwards, because the frills don't start moving to them until at least one on their level is broken. And they always go to the one that was broken first. So now one is trying to fix that middle one, but if I do this, you don't have to kill any of the frills that are trying to fix those pipes. And that would be the last thunder egg, and then you exit. So now Snow works. You're going to leave, and she'll talk to you. You need to find 8 koala kids. The first one is over here in this snow. Those kangaroos are throwing snowballs, which don't hurt you, but they can stun you, so jumping usually makes them miss. And sometimes the snow, especially this one, doesn't always want to break when you throw the boomerang at it. So just kind of be aware that that can happen, and it usually doesn't. It usually only takes another throw to get it. It's usually not too bad. But make sure you grab kids and don't miss them. They'll talk to you, which is something you can listen for. Otherwise, just touch them. That's like, be close enough that you can see Ty touching it. And you don't have to break any of these, you can just jump over them. And going back's the same. The hitboxes aren't as big as what the actionable thing is. Especially here, there's only one to jump over, so you don't even need to extend. Grab this kid, and then the last kid. You can usually extend hover, just land on that, and you don't have to pull yourself up. What I do here is I break 2 of these, stand on it, jump, and get close enough, and just bite in the air to get to it. Otherwise, you can just land in here and extend hover to land on top, and then you can just bite. And the reason why it doesn't matter too much is because from here, that time is I found to be about the same as just landing up here and biting, because biting on the ground is quick compared to the wind-up of being in the air. Whichever you find more comfortable and whichever seems easiest to do consistently. Either way, you just need to get that bilby. You can just bite from the ground on this one. I was a little bit far away the first time. Now down here, there's a bilby behind this tree, so you can just slide down close enough and bite it. If you kind of head straight down-ish, you'll hit the trigger for the cutscene of this lobster. And you just throw your boomerangs at it. Don't get too close or else it'll get mad and then it can try to hurt you instead of moving forward. But you just kind of push it into this cage. And it'll always go away from where Ty is when you hit it. So it goes in a straight line. And then you just need to hit all of these, and sometimes one will get stuck. And then start swimming away as soon as you see the last one wiggling. And you get up and out. Now here is usually where I just start mashing Y because there's a cutscene of Mori talking to you right before you get to the mountain. And then from there, just kind of jump as soon as you land when you're going up. Go slightly faster than going up the steps. And that's on any of these inclines. You can just jump to go slightly faster. Now here is a color order puzzle of the icicles, which is fairly obvious. It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So I'll get rid of these spiders. The reason why you'd want to switch to boomerangs. The reason why is because flamerangs have a larger hitbox than the normal boomerangs. And aim towards the bottom and just... The order is random. So there's a 1 in 32 chance that you could go straight left to right or right to left. It's all luck-based. It's minor RNG and it wastes a second at most if you get the wrong one. Not the wrong one, but you get a bad one. So it's not a big worry. Messing up takes time because you have to wait for the icicles to respawn. So it's better to go a little slow and make sure you hit the right ones rather than try to go fast and have to restart. Now there's a thing up here. If you slide back and forth too much, Ty will go onto his back and slide back and forth, and you can't control him like that. He goes like that. But if you continue to be able to control Ty, which I did not because I went up too big of an incline, you can continue to control Ty, and you can force him to land closer to over here rather than down there, which saves a little bit of time. What ring you're using doesn't really matter. Go here, and usually you can just get hit by one of them, which puts you out of the animation, which is slightly faster. So now it's mill skip. So I usually just go up to the edge until Ty is on his tippy toes, and then jump up and extend hover, and I land up here. The other thing that others find easier is to do the same thing, but fight like that, and you'll be put onto a piece of geometry that you can jump off of. This is also known as the Fall of Shame. If you do happen to miss this, you go all the way down there. You did hit one of the outhouses, so if you can die quickly down there, you can deathward back up. But with a little bit of practice, it's easy enough to land up here. Then there's two ways, one of which I don't really know how it works, where you stand. You stand on this, and then you go onto that piece of door, I believe, and then you, from there, and then up to there or something. But then you have to hit the switch because it's a piston. What I'm used to doing is simply lining up with this fence, jumping up to it, going about this far, hitting the switch, aiming at the gate, jumping up here, turning around. You can wait for the piston to go up and then jump, and you get the thunder ring. You have to hit that button because it not only raises the gate, but makes this piston start going up and down so that you can actually reach it. After that, you can just go into this circle of mushrooms to go back to the beginning because we still need to turn in the kids. If you don't want to do mill skip, you can, as soon as you get to the top of that area, and you get the thunder between all of those enemies, go into the mushrooms and head back here, talk to her, and then do the race. The race would be the backup thunder egg if you don't want to do mill skip. Otherwise, exit level. And with that, we're on to Crikey. Crikey's fairly easy. Dive into the water, come over here, come back over. Okay. Hit the scuba tank, and then go up. You just stand on whichever one you're comfortable aiming from, look at where it's going, and then... I didn't think he was biting me. That creates a small problem, but normally you wait until Crikey's about to bite it, and then you explode it. I'll show you on this one. And then I'll probably just start over just to show you how it should be done in full. Actually, if you do happen to screw up, I guess it's a thing to know. But yeah. You want to normally hit it before he grabs it rather than after. Because he'll splash around when he has it in his mouth, which takes time if you can't hit him. But he also has an extra animation. Now he's going to try and bite me again. No, I got too far out of the way. Is there another one? Yeah, it just gets put back into the same place. So you just have to hit it again and then swim up. If you're quick enough, Crikey can't hit you. Yeah, it's the same place. And then Crikey does a little death animation. Often he gets stuck underneath places. And then he'll just phase up. And that's the end of Crikey. So now for Hub 3. Hub 3 starts off with a little trick that's kind of hard. It's hard to do quickly. It's not too easy to replicate, like, immediately. I don't know how to explain that. It's very easy to mess this trick up many, many times in a row. But there's a slight difference between PC, at least in the current build, and console, and that's camera. Which I will be showing. I'll switch to GameCube. So, this is Lenny. He is a lyre bird. He wants me to go in here. It's wrong. He lies. But Lenny is good for something, at least. He lets me stand on his head and his back. And normally what I do is I just kind of jump and turn and land, and you get put onto this, and then you hold the look button, and you look at you hold the aim button, and then you go into this, and you can kind of aim where you're wanting to go. The problem is on PC, it's not entirely consistent that you're going to be looking in this direction. Most of the time, you look in this direction. A complete 180. Well, almost 180. So you kind of have to jump oddly. Come on, jump in here. Another way to get on top of Lenny, which is a little bit easier, is to just do that bite. You just got to make sure that you do it far enough left instead of right. And far enough into the corner. It's not what I prefer doing, so... But it's not too hard. There's collision. The reason why you can't just jump is because there's pretty big collision here, because it doesn't want you to. But the collision kind of stops up after that, and you can just fall through them. So if you fall through the right one, it puts you back to the beginning, which is okay. If you fall through the left one, you have to exit level and re-enter because Lenny won't exist anymore, or continue through the level casually. Doing this also sometimes puts you at a higher geometry. Biting sometimes puts you at a higher geometry, like this, which makes it a lot easier for you to jump over. The weird camera on PC makes it a little difficult for you to know where you're going. You're aiming for in between the two logs. And you do need to do an extended hover in order to get over the geometry. Like that. And then there's all this out of bounds. And what you're doing is you're going into this room, which is the Sly fight room, but Sly isn't here. You exit and go down there. And just come down here. And you're going to cool off this boiler. Because there's a thunder egg inside. And then this usually ends up working pretty well. And you come up here. And then there's a Sly fight. I almost messed that up. At the beginning of the Sly fight, you want to, as he's throwing the boomerang, throw the Frosty ring. What happens is his doomerangs, I think they're doomerangs, it'll either, after he's thrown it, come back and break the ice, which will hurt him, or he breaks the ice immediately as he's being encased in it, and you notice that it ticks off. Otherwise, after that, you can just freeze, flame, freeze, flame. And if you don't get that boomerang hit, it doesn't really matter, just continue to do this. Just freeze him and then hit him with the flame ring. The other thing you could do, technically, is be on Frosty Ring and then just wait for him to throw that Doom Ring again. So yeah, I'll switch to Amaric and console and show that off on console. Which here I am still at Walk in the Park. Whatever.
Come on, jump in here!
Now you'll notice with this one, I'm generally aiming more forward. I may not be aiming in the exact direction in which I want, like, that I tell it to, but you have a more forward camera. And having that more forward camera makes this a lot easier, because you can adjust a lot better.
You haven't seen the last of
And then it's the same. Go down here. So, you choose what you want. I guess that's a good time to mention it. The Thai community is thinking about going to the in-game time, which you can see here. Somewhere there's like an overall time. Is that not in? Maybe it's not on console. Ooh, if it's not on console, then that's a problem. You'd have to add all of those up. All those times together. I like how Lyre Lyre 100% only took me like 20 minutes. It took less time than 2 up. That's funny. I'm pretty sure. Hold on. I'll switch back to... The rest should be on PC anyway. If I go into game info... Why isn't there a timer? Oh, I didn't go into totals, that's why. The totals should happen in game time. Hold on. Switch back. Alright, that has to be in here. Yeah. It doesn't have the up arrows. So, yeah, there's an in-game time total there. Those 3 cogs. Okay, so if we use in-game time, then you can use whichever console, whichever version you'd like, whichever one you're comfortable with. But that is the main differences between, those are the only few differences I've found within PC and any console. Would be the walk, skip, jump, the Lyre Lyre skip being camera being a little weird. Camera overall in PC is a little bit weirder when you're used to console. And then the swimming, turning is a little bit more fluid on PC if you use mouse and keyboard. Controller's the same. As well as the camera getting stuck, but that's camera. Okay, so there's a few different paths that you can take with these. I guess I'll show the easiest first. Would be hitting this one, hitting that one now, or a little bit later, doesn't matter. You need to get this bilby, which sometimes you have to bite all these enemies and it's annoying. But you want to get here. If, for whatever reason, you happen to fall down here like so many people, so many runs, and it is very sad, there's a simple way back up. You just jump and you can get up. It's not super free and easy, but as long as you don't extend hover, I found that you can get up there fairly easy. Just jump at the edge and kind of just walk up. Anyway, after you're done getting the bilby, you can extend hover to get up here. You can jump and then just walk up this edge, or you can walk a little bit further and extend hover up here, or just normal jump. Either works because it's fairly free. You can hit that now. You could hit it earlier, you could hit it now, or you could jump over, go back, hit it, and then hit this one. Now here's more or less where the paths split. The easy way is to go this direction, and hit this one, that one, hover, and hover to this. And I'm just gonna kind of... Camera's bad. The other way would be... Yeah, there's really only 2 ways to go. That's the super easy way. Jump. Jump. You can't jump when you're on the slidey slope. You have to wait. You have to jump before you're on the slope. The other way would be to hit this one and fight this bite that bilby. You want to be on this side. So you can jump over. You can come over here, jump, and just throw your boomerang, and you'll hit that. Otherwise, you can look up. Well, if you can see it over here, you can a little bit. You can hit that. Jumping and hitting it is fine. You can come from here, jump and hit that one, or just aim and hit it. Then you're going to come into here and do this. And then there's to this one. Alright, so before what we did was we went up there, landed on this to hover into that. Well, we can't really do that anymore. There's two ways to go about this. Get rid of these guys. You can jump from here and get an extended hover, which puts you up here, so you can hover to it again. Or from down here, just simply extend hover. And you can land up on it. It's a little bit less free. The more free version of doing it on this side is, go away, is to just extend hover and then bite into that corner. And then you can just, because the biting allows you to jump or walk into this area. Now you can be the casual and do that, which is often what I do, or the not so casual but still pretty free is the extended hover, climb up, grab it. It's not too hard, I just don't like missing it, so I tend to do this. It's not that much slower because the amount of time it takes you to climb is about the same amount of time as going around. If you didn't get the bilby, if you didn't jump off and hit those from below, get the bilby and hit those from below, you'd come back this way. Well, so if you started up here and went in there and finished that and it puts you out here, this is when you would go in here and talk to her to get that thunder egg. Then you'd come out this way and get that bilby down there. Either way, once you're done with that area, you're going to want to come back this way anyway. And continue on backwards. To these mushrooms, which will put you back at the top of this water slide. We're not going to go down the water slide. Instead, we're going to come this way. You're going to bite that, and then you're going to come up here. Now, a somewhat optimization is to extend hover and to land on top of this. It's not always as easy as it seems, like it would be. At least not to me. I didn't extend hover that time. Fine. And again. The other way is just very simple. Just walk this way, jump up, go around. It saves less than a second, or maybe a second, so it doesn't matter. You do want flame rings here. You're going to go down here and get this bilby, and then down here is a spider web that you need to burn. And then you need to press this button, which starts a platform going up and down. You can jump over this to go back here, and then there's pies. The further you get away from these, further down these pies you go, the more time you'll save. And then you can just walk up to this one and bite from below, stop halfway, fall down, and then you can just jump on this and get up to here. Now soon is where the time will actually, or what you do will matter, depending on what version you're running for now, because we use RTA timing. If it was in-game timing, you'd bite this bilby, get the egg, and immediately exit level, and then re-enter back in because it puts you back at the beginning and you need to do the race. This works out Exiting level and re-entering works out faster than backtracking on PC, Xbox. On PC and Xbox. It's about the same amount of time on GameCube. By my timing, GameCube loading and unloading compared to travel time is the same as doing the background. That is about the same. You're within a second, which is minimal loss for the length of the run, or game for the length of the run. But exiting level and re-entering is more consistent than trying to backtrack. So I would suggest exiting level and re-entering for everything but PlayStation 2. But if you happen to be running on PlayStation 2 and we're still doing RTA timing, then you should backtrack by going up this way, up here, and you're going to want to have your normal boomerangs because of how their collision works. Their hitboxes are smaller, so they're able to do this. What you're going to try and do is hit that blue button. But obviously you can't just hit it straight. What you do is you walk to the right side of this gate, aim left, and towards this tree and rock. And when it goes right, the curve hits the button. And then you walk backwards. This is the trunk that you would go out of if you don't listen to Lenny in the beginning. It's this one. Anyway, you're walking backwards, and there's the timer. If you exit level and re-enter, you end up here, you just walk forward, go into it. Now this is the same thing as all water slides. Jumping could potentially be faster, but you need fairly frame-perfect inputs. You can still get hit easily. I find it more fun anyway to jump, even if it's the same. Otherwise, duck, go forward. You duck so you can go under the logs that are sticking out. You don't have to worry about them. I think there's only one in this water slide anyway, but dodge everything, go, and end. And then you exit level. Now we're on to Beyond the Black Stump, which has a little bit of technical things to do. First thing is you want to have cross your ring and throw your right boomerang, because you always start with your right boomerang when you're entering a level. You're going to throw left so you can enter that, and break those three. And then you're going to stand here and wait for the frills to come at you and start jumping. What you're trying to do is get them close to this pillar so that you can stand between them and on their heads, basically. With that amount of extra height and an extended hover, you can just simply grab the ledge and get up to the kid. Otherwise, you have to go way over that direction and onto a flower, which eventually puts you up there, and that's a lot slower. So you're coming away from the kid, you go down this way and take a right. You want to break open these fires. Usually you want to switch to your flame ring, extend hover, make it on top, or grab the ledge, grab this kid, burn the web, and grab this kid. Switch back to Frosty Ring. Make sure, for the most part, you're not wanting to get hit, but you also do want to get hit. What we're going to do is death warp. But there's easy ways to take damage in places. So taking damage isn't a big deal, but if you take too much damage and you die early, then it'll be quite a loss. So you're grabbing that kid. I guess that's something to explain. You can just get on here with an extended hover, but you have to be pushing towards it. Otherwise, when you jump straight up, obviously you're not getting on the ledge. But you can get onto this ledge. But if you continue to press forward as you get onto it, you're going to hit these flames and you're going to take damage and possibly fall down. So once you're up here, you can get rid of them. The other way would be simply to go around and walk around, get up here, jump on this log, get rid of them, jump, and then grab the kid that's here. You're going to walk to this flower, which will put you over here. Grab this kid and jump into this flower. It puts you next to the bilby that's over here. You're going to bite the bilby and then hover back over. Hit those. Now would be a decent time to take one bit of damage. You can grab that kid, go over, 1 or 2 hits is fine here because there's only a few things left to do. You want to grab that kid. If you're trying to take all of the damage beforehand, don't swim underwater. If you go underwater and come back up, your life regenerates. So you'd have to take all of the damage again. But that's also a safety if you feel like you only have 1 hit left. Say you only have 1 hit left and you don't feel comfortable doing this, you can dive underneath the water and grab all your health. You just have to take all of the damage at the end here. So take a couple there, fight this, Bilby, and go out. I'm going to need to take more damage, so I'm going to take a damage there. Take another damage there. Grab the kid, and die. So you get warped back to the beginning, you can talk to the mother and get that Thunder Egg. That is the story mission which unlocks the race, which is right here. So now you can do the race. This race has a little bit of trouble with it on console and PC, and it's to do with ice physics. It's not that the ice physics are terrible, it's that they don't get loaded in correctly. And the only time that it seems to be that this occurs is if you're doing this any percent route. In 100%, it's fine. But as soon as I touch this ice, I'm going to dead stop. It's unavoidable in any percent. It's fine in 100%. I don't know why the difference is, really. Why any percent doesn't. What makes it so different. But the entire reason is the ice physics hasn't loaded in. And without the ice physics, it doesn't know what to handle when Ty gets on the ice. So it just stops him dead, loads in the physics, and then you continue on. The beaver or whatever can seem like he's going to overtake you, but he never really will unless you miss a ring and have to backtrack and go really bad. After that first ice, jumping onto ice doesn't make a difference, so it's easy enough to just walk onto it. Just be aware. Again, fighting into a goalpost, slightly faster. You just want it to end fast. Well, wrong direction. I take out Flame Ring. There's a Bilby. I'll show it to you. There's a Bilby down here. It's over here next to the spider. Well, usually next to the spider, which is by a spider web. We used to get it, and you can still get it now if you prefer. But a slightly faster route was to just go up here, and we'll get it later. Okay, so you can casually jump over there and go up the log, or you can extend hover and just not... I stopped pressing forward. That was my problem. But if you just extend hover... What? I should be on that. Whatever. You can fairly easily... I don't know why it took me 3 tries, but you can fairly easily land up here. Those guys can still be bad. Like, terrible. If you're moving, it's not a big deal because they'll throw at you and then you're already past where they're throwing at. Okay, so here is another skip of this. You can fly over to that and go up, obviously, and go up to there. Otherwise, just kind of be up at the top of this. I can be up on his tippy toes, and then I usually aim for about there. About a third of the way through that snow. And then if you just extend hover, Ty grabs a ledge, and you can continue on. Saves a few seconds. It's not too hard. Missing it is a big issue, so if you do have trouble with it, feel very free to just go around. It doesn't save that much time. So here's the thing that I can't really show. But if I were to just walk up this log, Mori talks to you, and then the camera points this direction. And this happens on console and on PC. The way to get around that is to jump into the air when he talks to you, and then you can continue forward. It's more of an orientation thing and makes it so you don't just randomly walk off the ledge because you're holding forward. grab this one. PC, this one wasn't so bad, but sometimes PC in that animation can really screw up and put your camera like outside the boundaries. Anyway, you'd want to go down here and grab this bilby. You can jump on this box to make this jump easier. Obviously, you can make that jump without it, but you'll normally grab the ledge. Now you're going to stick close to this wall. You do have to go around that sign, though. You don't want to go for that kid yet. You may throw a boomerang at that guy if you feel the need to. Spiders are kind of bad. You want to be as close to the web as possible when you throw that, just so you don't accidentally throw it at the spider instead. Normally you don't want to kill these guys, but I'm going to get rid of them just so it's easier to explain and stand around. Otherwise they throw snowballs at me. So you can trigger this kid by walking towards him and then turn around. There's two different ways that he can go that... I'm pretty sure there's only two different ways that you can go. You can either go down that path straight across, or he'll come back down this path. If you trigger him and he happens to go this way... Well, here, I'll show him this way first, since this is the way he happened to go. He'll continue on that way, and then you can kind of just stay here, and he'll run right into you. Yep, teleported here. Be very aware that I got teleported here, which is next to the moor. From that point, I guess that's the point to make. From this point, all you do is you glide down to that bilby that's straight in front of us. It's right through that tree. You'd fall down and then glide every once in a while just so you don't do the splat animation. Now, that was the kid running down this way and coming back, and you can catch him here-ish. It's really easy to catch the kid because he only has a few paths that you can go on. If you do this trigger and turn back, if you do this motion where you trigger him and come back quickly, what he does is he starts here and he comes out this way and makes a wide circle into this direction. So what'll happen is you're in front of him enough that you can come back this way and you can kind of follow right behind him, and as soon as he's able to be caught, you catch him. If you happen to miss him and he walks down this way, it's easy. Just walk down this way. Hit the frills if they're in your way and you think they might hurt you. And then stand here-ish, somewhere around here. You can see him coming. He'll walk right into you. It's the same thing. He comes down this way and he turns this corner and he walks this way. He has a few places where he stops, but he doesn't stop at this end. Instead, what he does is he stops around here. So as long as you're past that point, he'll walk into you. It's the same on the other side. He doesn't stop at the end of at the height of that arch, basically, of his turn. He stops into the snow a little bit. So it's... Catching the kid can be hard if you're trying to follow him. If you're just following his path, it's really hard to catch up to him. But knowing that he won't stop even if you're not following him is very helpful. So just hover a few times when you're here, hit it, there, grab it, exit level. Easy. Okay. So now for Rex Marks. Rex Marks has 3 different routes. And I'll start with the slowest one. No matter what, the first thing you do is you talk to her, because that starts a whole mission with these treasure chests that we're going to be doing. And the whole route is kind of based around those treasure chests. So first things first is that you're going to swim this way. And you're going to swim to that first treasure chest on that far island. Rex Marks has a lot of downtime. Where is it exactly? It's this way. Yeah. You can talk to... Yeah. So you talk to it, and then you skip it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go over here. Or you could do this one first. It doesn't make a huge deal. Either way, follow the curve and go over. Well, you have to go over that land. So I guess, yeah. You'd want to get that first. It's faster. I haven't done the... This is the old route, which is a lot easier. Which is why it's slower, but it's a lot easier. So you can flame ring these guys as they're throwing the barrels. After they've thrown the barrels, you can't do anything about them with the flame ring. There's a few other things that you can do in order to... Another thing you can do to kill them is freeze them or just put a thing in front of them and then have them run into it and they fall into the ocean. The counter for them dying doesn't happen until they despawn. So it's possible, especially on console, I noticed that if you continue to watch them as they fall into the ocean, they don't despawn very quickly. So what I do is after the last one, I just start running away. Anyway, after you get done with that in this one, what you're going to do is swim out. And you're going towards that anchor island. Actually, wait, no? No. You want to head this way first. Right. You're swimming towards the anchor island, but first you're going to do this. It's a very simple thing, and we'll teach you about hovering. You hover at the top of this. You can extend hover or normal hover. You should be able to make this no matter what, because this is the casual way of doing this. You hover to this one, jump, hover to that one, grab it, wait until you're close enough, and then try to extend hover, and you can land on top of it. Otherwise, you'll grab the ledge. Even when you extend hover, you can just grab the ledge. And then you're going to go off this side, dive into the water, try to dive into the water, fix your camera if you need to, and you're going to swim towards the anchor. The anchor has the next treasure chest. And then, as luck may have it, the next treasure chest is right here. Then swim along the edge of this. This is quite a long swim. Try not to go onto the surface. If you get too close, it pushes you up too far. You don't want to always swim if you can cut across enough land. So here, you cut across this land, because that bar goes quite a ways out. Your swimming isn't that much faster. Especially since you need to go across this entire curve, and you need to get up on land there anyway. Because the next treasure chest is... Oh, I just passed it. Oops. Is right here. The next one is out there in the middle of the water. It's on that sunken ship. I usually come at it from the right, just so I can swing around, because you're going to head this direction. Now the last one's at the end of this beach, and because of cutting the way that you can cut through land instead of swimming, cutting through the land is actually faster. I believe. If you want to swim around, it's fine. It's more of a straight path this way. And you're going to have to get on land in order to open it anyway. That's a Thunder Egg. Now, same thing. We're not done. We need one more Thunder Egg in order to unlock the next boss. So the harder route has a trick in it, and I think even doing the backup of the harder route would save time over this, because what you need to do now is come here and swim towards the race and run and accept the race immediately so that you can start this. He's faster than you in water, but there's enough land part. Rex is faster than you in water, slightly, but there's enough land parts that he's super slow in that you'll have a lead. Plus, he takes more time on land than you really should. You can start swimming now and go around the curve of this island to get these rings. Try and dive as best as you can, not surfacing. If you dive too close to the edge, it'll act like you dived, but then you're not in deep enough water, so it puts you at standing, and then you're not deep enough to stand, so it just puts you on the surface of the water. It has weird things with swimming, with trying to do that. Grab this, cut it as close as you can. Diving and taking the straight line is faster. I don't want to dive again because it takes too much time to do it when you're just standing still, compared to diving in from the air. After that, go up. I'm just going to walk to it and bite when you get into it. And that's the last one, then you exit level. So obviously... Oh, I'm missing a Thunder Egg. Wait. Oh, I missed one. I missed one in Rex Marks. There's one that we do in both routes, but I'm not used to old route. Okay, so... Where would that be? Oh, that's why. Oh. Does that mean that I'd want to go that way? Okay. Slight difference. Like I said, there's doing the casual way of the harder part of the hard route is still probably going to be faster than trying to do the race, which is the only difference. In the harder route, we're getting bilbies instead of doing the race. Okay. So, what happens is, after you do frill boats, you don't swim off in this direction like I did. Instead, what happens is, after frill boats, go up onto the beach here and walk across this way. This is what is known as Lava Egg, and is a pain. It's a pain to learn. Once you understand your own way of doing it and a little concept, it's a lot easier to pull off. The good thing about this one is that it's easy to practice because you can do it over and over again, even if you collect the Thunder Egg. So what I do is I kind of stand here, walk and run until I'm about here, jump and extend hover, and aim for the left part of that little edge of geometry, that corner of geometry. I aim to the left of it. Others aim to the right. You find what is comfortable for you. But I just kind of aim that direction, jump, extend hover, and I can usually grab it. Other people start from over here and extend hover. This is really a person-to-person jump. People do it different ways, and as soon as you find one that's comfortable for you, that's what you should stick with. The any case is that if you jump from too far back, even though you're at a higher place, you don't have enough distance to keep that height. So you have to jump far enough forward that you're still high enough with an extended hover to grab that edge, but you're not too low that you're not high enough. It's all a bit wonky. Oops. And as you can see, it's not 100% anyway. You definitely need to extend hover though, which I am not doing very well right now. There. Grab the egg. Biting into it is a little bit faster. It doesn't really matter. And then what you do is you just hover and dive into the water. And then from here, you'd swim around the curve of this. Even though it seems slow, you'd swim around the curve of it. And then you'd go over here. To do this jumping. You can exit level. And then, yeah. And then you'd have to fight Fluffy. But I have to show you the other ways. I have a save here that's for practicing exactly what we're going to do right now. And first I'm going to save over the other one so I save in the right place. So I chose this one, but I chose this. Now all my auto saving will go here instead of here. So I keep this save. On console, what you can do is load it up and then take out your memory card for GameCube, PS2. I think Xbox, you have to do this. You have to do the same thing because it's all internal memory. Okay. So you talk to her. And then I'm not entirely sure which route is faster for this. One route, they're very different. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to do the one that I'm not as familiar with. I understand which way I need to go, but it's not what I've done in my runs. And that's Krythal's way. And Crikey has the world record on console and is the faster runner. And that's to immediately go for this jump. This jump is really weird. I'll show you the basic concept. And if I get it, it'd be amazing. You throw down an ice, you switch to flame, and then you're going to flame the ice so that it's tilting. You're going to extend hover and then bite toward, and then at the height of that jump, you're biting towards the bilby in the hopes that you'll get on top or just bite and break the box. The casual way of getting this bilby would be, of course, to look at where this thing is as it's going around, get on top of this, and then hover onto it, and wait to go around. If you can't get this bilby too quickly, doing this would probably, if you can't do this bilby very consistently, doing this would be much preferred, and then get rid of a lot of heartache, because then it's just simple. You just go here, you bite it. But here's the basic concept. And there's plenty of ways to do this, which way you go to and stuff. That's the whole basic concept, but you could also go from more this forward face and go forward, turn around and bite. You could go from this left side and do the same thing. You have to turn enough to make sure that Ty is looking toward the bilby. As soon as he looks towards the bilby, he'll bite towards it. I go more at an angle. I think I'm too far away. Yeah, I'm too far away. I go at more of an angle. Start from back here. And bite towards it. It's definitely a hard trick. It takes a lot of time and patience to do. One thing you definitely don't want to do with like what I'm doing is be swimming too long. And sometimes you'll grab the edge like that, like you'll bite at the edge. And that's okay as long as tide doesn't slide off. If tide doesn't slide off too far, you can bite again and grab it. So don't give up. Don't give up if tide happens to do that. That's too far away from me. Let's see, yeah, I can. The problem with my way is the where you can stand in the water isn't always clear. The general idea is that I'm trying to go from the back. But, yeah. See, like, for some reason I can stand here, but, like, a step to the left and I can't. Where Ty can stand isn't exactly, like, obvious. Yeah. You get up here, and then you fight again. Oh, that was 3. Oops. This one already has some collected. Oh, it already has certain things done. So that's the first thing that you should have done in this route. So some of the bilbies are going to be missing. It's okay. I'll actually point out where they are. So you'd come this direction. After doing that, you'd come this direction. Or you could do this bilby first. There's a bilby where this pie is, as you saw before. And then you could go to that. I don't think the order really matters because you're spending about the same amount of time on land. Yeah, about the same amount of time on land. After that, you come down here. Okay. And you talk to her and do this, which I'm pretty sure I've already done. Oh! Dang it. Oh, cool. Oh. Ty will automatically aim towards enemies if you're close enough. It's sometimes pretty annoying. I'm going this direction instead of going towards them because going against their circle usually ends up being better. Yeah, see? Each one has a specific path, so knowing which one you're like killing is good. After that, turn around and you're gonna head towards the first treasure box. And then you're gonna walk around the island because on the back side of this is another bilby that I've probably already taken. And you'll see a pie. Yeah. So bite the bilby. Walk straight. Then it's kind of like the easy route. You're going to go for lava egg, which is right here. So that same thing. Go to where you're comfortable. Jump for it. Grab it. And then you're going to swim towards this same jump. And if you're a reset heavy person and you are going for that Bilby jump, having it in the beginning of the level is kind of nice. I'm generally not a reset heavy person. I'll actually spend more time doing that trick than is absolutely necessary, because I'd rather do it than do the casual way, just so I have practice in doing the trick. Now, for the most part, the end of this is pretty similar to... You also get this nice cool shot if you don't fix your camera. Ty humping water. This one. And then that treasure chest. And then you're going to go to the same island. The same next island where the next treasure chest is. The reason why this is actually faster is because that one Bilby is the only thing that is somewhat out of the way compared to the older route. And picking up Bilbies takes up a lot less time than the minute and a half that it takes to do the race. Or I think the fastest time is 1:22. It's on the leaderboards. 1:18. Okay. That's PC as well. Obviously, there's no leaderboards on console. But you go around this edge. Grab the box. And instead of going into the water, we're going to go around this edge. Continue along the edge of this wall to a Bilby. And then you just walk straight out. Kind of jump. Try and do a dive. It's kind of hard because of the way that water edge works. You can't, if you get too far out, then you can't jump because you're swimming on the top of the water. But if you jump and try to dive into that low, shallow water, you don't dive. You dive, and then it's like, oh, but you're not deep enough, so you're going to stand, and then you're going to fall, and then you're going to be on top of the water. So after that, instead of going straight to the last treasure box, instead what we're doing is we're going up here and taking this flower, and it takes us right over here to this Bilby. And then you just fall down and walk to this treasure chest. This is now the last Thunder Egg, and you don't need to do the race. Time for Fluffy. Fluffy is bad. Hit the arm with the Flamerang. You want the Flamerang out for this fight. You want to try and hit the chest without aiming. If you have to aim, I'll show you. Try and hit the chest like that. After it burns, hit the next piece. If you can't hit her, Fluffy's a girl. If you can't hit her chest while doing that, just get close, aim up. You'll get hit probably, but it's not too bad. Okay. After that, you still want Flamerang, and what you're going to do is you're going to hit the flames with your Flamerang to melt the ice. Instead of going to the next one, you're just going to go back and forth between two and try not to get hit because the pattern is somewhat tight, but not too tight. After that, switch to Frosty Ring. Whoa, it didn't hit. Sometimes that'll happen. The Flame Ring goes through and explodes, but it doesn't actually hit. And what you're doing is you're just hitting Fluffy's face with Frosty Ring. Alright, so now you have Zappy Ring, but we're just going to go to the end, because that's what Zappy Ring allows us to do. cat. I mean, pretty obviously, you got the end of Hub 3. It's the last world, or the last hub. So the only thing left to do is to go fight Cass. Except you have to go through a little bit more. Jump over the rainbow scale. Go to Cass's Pass. Cass's Pass is a long, winding trail of a bunch of stuff that we don't get to see. Or hopefully you don't get to see. Because casually going through this level takes a lot of time, and honestly, it's a bit of a headache. I kill these ninjas just so they don't get in my way, hit me with random things that they can. What I do is I aim here, right where kind of the edge of that brown piece there. Walk forward and then extend hover. What you're trying to do is you're trying to land on one of the leaves or one of the trunks of these trees. If you can see which one I'm going for. And as soon as this thing comes over here, try and hit it. Hit that one if you can, if you're messing up, because they will throw things at you and it's irritating. But if there you can see I stood on it for a second. That's what you're trying to aim for. This trick is also sort of finicky. It's not too hard. It's definitely easier than the Bilby in Rex Marks, to me at least, and is the only skip that I did casually that I could perform casually. Lyre Lyre was more of a pain than it should have been. And even though I'm messing this up, I'd still prefer doing this over Lyre Lyre. Sometimes I have to aim a little bit further left than that. The whole point is just to land on it. Extended hover. You could also just kind of line up without the first-person camera and go for it. You don't want to jump to... You notice at the end kind of curves down and you lose height that way. So you don't want to jump too close to the edge, but you don't want to jump too far away from the edge either. It's not super precise, but... And I'm not used to just YOLOing it. I have to aim. Though I'm not doing very well anymore. Anyway. There. That was enough height, at least, but I didn't... No. I think I'm too far to the right. Maybe I should go to the left. It's sad that this is kind of at the end of the run, and it can, like, be a PB or not PB sort of situation. I'm also a bit out of practice. I did this for a little while, and I got it a few times in a row, so I felt good. But as you can see, it's sometimes a day-to-day basis whether this is actually useful. Okay, so you can get on here. Then what you're going to want to do is, you definitely don't want to move while you're on here. You're going to jump and then try and go over this. If you go out far enough, you don't need to worry about being stuck in here. Otherwise, just kind of walk along that edge and you'll be out here. Here, I'll get rid of these guys. If you don't get stuck on geometry, you can go out far enough. It's a little bit slower, but it's safer than going in there, because if you fall down that side and you end up here, you have to exit level and redo the trick. And if you fall into the void, you have to exit level and redo the trick. So going out and casually gliding around is generally a better idea. Either way, slip down this, because slipping can be fun and faster. Dive into this water, because intended pie camera strats. I always called them pies, but they're just floating cameras. You can just swim through all these crocs. It doesn't matter. They don't matter. Mines are slow. go to the left so you don't have to talk to Mori. You don't have to go that far to the left. I'm just trying to avoid. Jump over and go into Cast's Pass. Switch to ice and dive. Generally, you jump, dive, switch to ice while you're in the air. Or you can wait and switch to ice here. As long as you do the dive quickly, it won't matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to try and freeze these enemies. And then quickly aim and hit that button. What that'll do is hit Shadow, but if you're not fast enough, instead what you get is these bats that are super annoying. Oh, I was too far away. You have to be standing close enough to the corner to hit the thing. What that does is it sends up steam, and Shadow gets hurt. And you just want to go forward. Sappy Ring. My game is slowing down and I want to know why. There's plenty of 1-ups around here. Right there. I think there's one at the end over here. Yeah, there's one down there. There's plenty of these things. Oops. After she does that yell, you could, if you're here, you can do that. You just have to watch her to make sure that she doesn't have her invincibility frame. Generally here, you have enough time. If you're about to die, you need to take one extra hit, so just fall. You have enough time because she takes a while to come this way. Or you can grab that pie, but really a life doesn't matter. Oops. Anyway, you can come to this side, stand here, and wait for her, and hopefully she doesn't do her invincibility frame. Do that. She did her invincibility frame. She's going to follow you. If you don't... the invincibility frame may be based off of how her proximity. Yeah, she's going to continue to do this. I think it's her proximity to you, so you just don't want to get too close to her. If that happens, just jump over, please. The safer bet, stay over here. Hit her from over here. Of course, now I'm down 2 lives. There's also an extra life in there, if that matters to you. Yeah, that's gonna kill me. Lots of bad things happen. It's fine. Do the easier strat. The more consistent strat. Don't be me. Stand here. Wait for her to get close. Hit the button. She'll start spinning up in the air, which means she's getting hit. Climb up. Do this to get past her. Don't worry about flames because you're at full health. And then come over here. When you're at the start of this bridge, slide cutscene. And then when you get to here, another cutscene. Skip. Now final battle. So Frosty Ring, hit these flame turrets, and then fight them. Try not to get the hit too much with the flame. Avoid it as best as you can. You're going to take a hit, and then you could take some more. So after that last one, just throw as fast as you can at this thing. Switch to Flamerang. Walk down. You'll probably take a hit there. You can jump over them. And then just kind of jump and double throw at each of these. You have to hit each one twice. So if you're at an even number, it's easy to see. Okay. And then you get the Doomerang. Throw it up, get into here. Now, there's about 1.5 minutes that can be minimized by taking corners sharp. But there's about 1.5 minutes of this. You controlling the Doomerang as you go through. If you take each corner sharp, you can lower the amount of time this split, not split, this section takes by about 8 seconds. The left path is faster. knowing where this is going to go also helps if you're going to do this and like cut corners like I do. But you could also be super safe and just be out here. So you're going to see at the end you're putting the Doomerang into a black void. As soon as you go into that black void, a cutscene starts. Time ends when that cutscene starts. So like when the screen goes black. Down, up, down, and time. You can skip credits. You can make credits go faster by holding left bumper and right bumper on for PC. I don't know what it would be here. I don't know what it would be on mouse and keyboard. I don't know if there's a way to tell what these buttons would be on mouse and keyboard. And that's the end of the game. There's a Thai speedrunning Discord that I'll put into descriptions for... Actually, this is YouTube, right? Yeah. I'll put it into the description, the link to the Thai speedrunning Discord. Have any questions, you can be asked there. You can ask any questions. There's plenty of runners for Taiwan, any percent. Me, Kaithal, Rob the Gamer, 118. He has numbers. It's hard to remember. Maelstrom or Chris is a person who runs 100%. He can also answer general questions about the game. Yeah.